The following Let's Play has been rated perfectly fine to watch. Any attempts to break the game are for entertainment value only. However, if any typos happen to be found... Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! When we last left off in the last episode, I thought it was the last episode. But after we were done recording, I remembered, oh wait, there was actually something else that I wanted to show off. This is Kirby's Dream Collection, aka Kirby's 20th Anniversary Edition. It is a game on the Wii that came out last year that contains a total of 6 Kirby games. 6 of the classic Kirby games available for, let's just skip this intro, it's taking too long. Let's go to that, and I'll show you specifically. You got 6 games here: Kirby's Dream Land, Kirby's Adventure, Kirby's Dream Land 2, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land 3, and Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards. All 6 of these games are fully playable on this collection. And what's really interesting is if all you have is a Wiimote and you don't have, say, the classic controller, that's okay. These 3 games have been adapted for the Wiimote, so you can just play with the Wiimote. Since this is specifically about Kirby's Dream Land 2, we'll be taking a look at that on here in a moment. But first, let's take a look at some of the other features in here. Over here, we got new Kirby challenges. This is based on the challenges that are available in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is an awesome platformer that released a couple of years ago. And you're basically going through a bunch of different stages. I haven't actually loaded this before, so I haven't tried them out, but they're based on the challenges in that game, and they're all new stages, and apparently there's save files. I did not expect that. I expected it to just be standalone files, so I'm kind of curious what each of these, why you would want save files. Maybe there's something else? I don't know. I haven't fully explored this yet. Meanwhile, over here we have Kirby's History, which is a really detailed history section where they actually say stuff like, the Summer Olympic Games were held in Barcelona, somewhere in Spain. Also, Bill Clinton was elected president this year. But they show off a bunch of these here games, and along with showing off games, they also have videos. And I'm gonna take a look at this one. Let's see. We got videos, which has a little bit of information at the bottom while showing you in the videos of the game. I haven't played this particular Kirby game before, but I imagine it's pretty fun. Meanwhile, we got box art, which is pretty cool. You can actually take a look at the actual game box. What I find unfortunate is you can't zoom in any closer than this, so if you want to read all that information on there, too bad. You can't. Along with those, if we go... Oops, we already passed it. It's right here. In here, you actually can watch 3 episodes of the Kirby cartoon that aired in 2002. The first episode is the first episode, which makes sense, but the other 2 episodes available seem to have been chosen at random. One was about Meta Knight's sword, the other was about Waddle Dees. If they had to pick 2 other episodes, I would have wanted them to pick one of the event episodes, like the 2-part Kirby's Air Ride episode. Although the ending of that one is a bit of a cop-out, so maybe not. And if we go all the way to the end here, where it talks about Kirby's Dream Collection, there is something here called Watch Music Video, and this is basically, let's see, watch the video for Gourmet Race to Green Green's chamber music. I would show that off, but I'm a little bit afraid that might be an issue. Along with that, you can see all the games that have been released for Kirby up until this collection. There are a lot of Kirby games out there. And this doesn't even include the Smash Brothers games that he appeared in. No, these are all games starring Kirby. That is quite a huge collection of games. It's too bad there's not more than 6 platformer games available to play in this. I would have liked to have played, say, Kirby canvas curse on here. That would have been pretty cool. Alright, let's return to the main menu. And we're going to take a look at Kirby's Dream Land 2 on here, because after all, this is still in the middle, or at the end of, a Kirby's Dream Land 2 Let's Play. If you don't have a Super Game Boy, this is the other way you can play Kirby's Dream Land 2 on your game, or on your TV. Now, right off the bat, you might notice something a little off here. First off, it's in black and white. Why is it in black and white? This was a Super Game Boy game that has color. Along with that, what is with the game screen? It's like, I mean, it's like it wasn't enough to make it black and white. They also made it look like what it would actually look like if you played it on an actual Game Boy. It's all dark and muddy. The only way they could make this even more emulating a Game Boy game, or an actual Game Boy, is if they made the screen blurry whenever you walked. Actually, it almost does look blurry. Just ever so slightly. Now, I wouldn't have a problem with this color choice so much if not for the fact that the border surrounding it is awfully bright. It's so noticeable. But back to the question of why is this... You know what? Listen to the music. Not only is the screen muddy, but the music sounds muddy as well. I mean, whenever I was playing it on the Super Game Boy, it sounded crystal clear. So, they purposely made this look less technologically okay. Look and sound less technologically okay. Why is that hard to say? But anyway, why is this black and white? Why are there no colors? You know what really bugs me? It's that Nintendo seems to have completely forgotten that the Super Game Boy actually exists. The only thing that plays Super Game Boy games with Super Game Boy enhancements, besides emulators, is the Super Game Boy itself. Like, when the Game Boy Color was coming out, I was really excited because, like, oh yeah, I'm finally going to be able to play these Super Game Boy games with their enhanced colors. And I was half right. You can play the Super Game Boy games and the Game Boy Color makes them colored, but it makes them colored in the same way that the Super Game Boy takes games not enhanced for the Super Game Boy and adds color to those. So basically it treats them just like regular black and white Game Boy games. No enhancements whatsoever. And I was really disappointed about that. And then the Game Boy Advance came out and it's like, hey, it's a handheld Super Nintendo pretty much. We're going to be able to have Super Game Boy enhancements on that for sure. Plus it's a bigger screen, so maybe we'll even get borders. Nope, it treats the Super Game Boy games just like the Game Boy Color does, as regular black and white Game Boy games. And then came the wonderful, sort of wonderful peripheral that is the Game Boy Player for the GameCube. That allows you to play Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games on your TV. And it even includes a set of borders. And it's like, okay, we're finally getting back onto the TV. Surely this thing will have enhancements for Super Game Boy games. Nope, exactly same deal as the previous two cases. And now we have this collection. It's like, okay, maybe Nintendo won't be adding Super Game Boy enhancements, but this is HAL Labs. This is their game. They made this game. They know that it has enhancements. Surely they'll add Super Game Boy enhancements. And no, there are no Super Game Boy enhancements in this. In fact, oh, I can't even go to the world map. Hold on, let me reset the game. In fact, let's listen to the title screen. There's not even any cheering. There are no enhancements whatsoever. No colors, no special border aside from this border, but they use a border like this on all the games in this collection. No special sound effects? What's the deal? Now, I gotta point out something really interesting. I'm gonna reset this here. By the way, this is pretty much works just like Virtual Console games, so exiting the game like this will create a save state until you return to the game. Now, if we go here and look at this box art, you'll notice that there is an interesting little icon there under the 2. If you're wondering what that icon is, let's go back into the Kirby history segment. Let's find Kirby's Dream Land 2. There it is. Now, interesting, they're playing the song from level 7. I would have imagined they play the song from level 1. But anyway, let's take a look at this here box art. Let's zoom in here. So you see that little icon under the 2 there? That happens to be the logo for the Super Game Boy. That is saying that this game is Super Game Boy enhanced. And if we turn the box over, there are 2 screenshots on the right side. The top one shows off the game if you play it on a regular old Game Boy. Although I don't know why it's all blue and yellow like that. But the bottom screenshot shows off the game whenever you play it on the Super Game Boy. So, the box in Kirby's Dream Collection shows that this game has Super Game Boy enhancements, but when you play it, there aren't Super Game Boy enhancements. I think that counts as false advertisement. And how can they have this box with Super Game Boy enhancements showing, but not throw in Super Game Boy enhancements? What the heck? There are probably going to be people who come in here, look at this box art, and say, look at that bottom screen, it's like, wait, what is that? How do I access that? Well, guess what? You can't. And if we go to the video, you'll notice something else interesting. Not only is the video, of course, in black and white, but it's in a more clear black and white. Along with that, the sound is more crystal clear. The video is a higher quality than the game you play in this collection. Why is there a difference? And why aren't the Super Game Boy enhancements there? This annoys the heck out of me. None of the companies out there, not Nintendo and apparently not HAL Labs, seem to remember that the Super Game Boy ever existed. And that is why I decided to do Super Game Boy games. Because I remember it because Nintendo don't. With that said, this is still a very worthwhile collection to get, especially if you don't own all the games on this collection already. For example, I don't already own Kirby's Dream Land 3. I also previously did not own Kirby 64, so it's nice to have that finally on this collection. In fact, before we end this Let's Play, as long as I'm showing off Kirby's Dream Collection, I might as well show off the rest of these games. Let's start with Kirby's Dream Land. I'll show you what all these other games are like. A couple of these I already played, and I'm pretty sure, yep, the save states are still there. That's kind of interesting. So we got Kirby's Dream Land, the first Kirby game. In this game, he did not already have his copy ability, so all he can really do is suck and blow. And that's it. There's only 5 levels in this game, and the 5th level is pretty much an abridged version of the first 4 levels, but it's pretty fun. What's interesting is this game includes an extra mode, and in the extra mode, there is... all the enemies are replaced with hyper enemies, and extra mode is really difficult, but it's really fun if you're able to beat it. If you watch the Let's Races that we do with Lantis and crew, we actually did a Let's Race of Kirby's Dream Land on extra mode, and it was interesting to say the least. But yeah, this is Kirby's Adventure, or Kirby's Dream Land. Kirby's Adventure is next, so let's go ahead and go to that. And here's Kirby's Adventure. I don't know if it's just my screen or if it really is like that, but it's kind of flickering. Maybe it's just because of my TV. In order to get widescreen, it's a standard resolution TV. It's square. It's not a widescreen TV, but it has a letterbox feature, so that might actually be having an effect on stuff, and that might be why it's flickering. And if it's not flickering in the recording, then I am wasting your time. So let's just go ahead and get started. We'll just start a new game. Kirby's Adventure was the first game in which they added Kirby's ability to have copy abilities, as they show off here. Like I said, I'll actually be let's playing this again in the future, so I'll be going into more detail, but one reason that I like this game better than Kirby's Dream Land 2 is that even though Kirby's Adventure didn't have the animal buddies, first off, the animal buddies was an awesome idea. I wish they would bring them back. This seems like there's still some potential to be had with the animal buddies. But even though this game didn't have animal buddies, it seems like the abilities in this game were more fun to use, like they're more overpowered somehow. I mean, look at this. This attack is so powerful it causes slowdown. So yeah, this is definitely a fun game. It also has different mini games. While Kirby's Dream Land 3 or Kirby's Dream Land 2 had all those star mini games, this one has less mini games but very different mini games. And as soon as I finish this, I'll show off one of them. This is also where the cloud bonus was. Oh wow, I did not expect that to get this. This is the only time in this video that I'll be getting this bonus, and I got the 1-up. Awesome. And then we have different mini games. Like I said in the Let's Play earlier, the overworld of Kirby's Dream Land or Kirby's Adventure is more interesting than in Kirby's Dream Land 2. It's not as uniform, so that's kind of interesting. And then we have this Crane Fever, one of the mini games in this game. We're on easy mode right now, so this is going to be incredibly easy. In fact, I'm probably going to get this perfect. Yep, that's not going to drop. I got it perfectly centered. But anyway, let's go move on to the next game on the list. Well, the next game on the list. The next game on the list is Kirby's Dream Land 2, which we obviously just let's played. So we're going to move on to Kirby Superstar. I haven't actually played this game on this collection yet, so there's not going to be a save state. Kirby's whatever this game is called is probably the most popular of the Kirby games. It is most everyone's favorite. I like Kirby's Adventure best because that game is a more full adventure, but this one seems to be the fan favorite. You know, this will give me a chance to actually try out to see how well this works with just a Wiimote. But this game actually is a bunch of smaller games in one package, and in order to unlock the last two games, you actually have to beat the earlier games, so yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let's see, that button does nothing. That's the info button. Oh wait, no, that's the start button. Why is the start button the 1 button? That's like having it be the B button. That's the back button. They reversed the buttons! Why is... This is essentially like having, on an NES controller, the B button start the game and the A button go back. Please don't tell me the B button is jump. No, don't explain copy. They're explaining copy anyway. What did I just say? Come on, move on. Okay, good. The 2 button is the jump button. I was going to say, so let's see here. We got these buttons, of course. Now, which one is... Okay, that's that button. And that's that button. Let's see, if we go down here... I should probably explain what buttons I'm talking about. Okay, so the 2 button acts like the jump button. The 1 button lets you suck. The trigger button underneath the controller is your shield, and the big fat A button is that. Which, if I go down here and swallow this guy... Alright. So that grabs your partner and also turns your partner back to normal. Yeah, this game is the first co-op Kirby game. If you have a second player, you can have somebody take control of this character, and that character acts on his own. This was also the first Kirby game in which you had your powers did different things depending on... Well, they were context sensitive, so if we just sit here and hit the attack button, you just swing your parasol out. And if I dash, this does that. Meanwhile, I can also do this, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty cool. This is a really good game. It controls well. The powers are really fun to use. There's a co-op mode with the co-op feature, which is awesome. So yeah, wonderful game. Even if it is just a bunch of small games wrapped in a big package. What's interesting is the different games... You know, I should show this off. How do I exit? How do I exit Kirby's thing? You know, I'm not sure there is an exit button for this. I think I would have to beat it or something. Or just reset it. No, let's just reset it. And of course, resetting creates a save state, so it would just bring me back into the game I want to exit. Now, how does one do this in the original Superstar? Oh, and this also has a grappling technique. It's the only Kirby game with a grappling technique that I know of. Alright, there is a way to reset the game. It is a button combination, and I don't know what the button combination is because I pretty much held down all the buttons at the same time. So, let's go ahead and show off Great Cave Offensive. And the reason I want to show off is each of the games is slightly different than each other. We have... No, I did not want instructions. Why are there so many games out there that ask you, hey, do you want to learn this? And then you say no, but it tells you anyway. Like, for example, Pokemon does that. But anyway, the reason I want to show off this game is you'll notice that the little screen at the bottom, the part at the bottom is kind of different. Your goal in this game isn't just to get to the end of stages. Actually, there are no stages. This is just one huge level. One really, really huge level, with some boss battles intermingled in between. But your goal in this game is to collect all the treasure, and some of the treasure is... Which one counts as X? Alright, minus button. But your goal is to collect all of the treasure in the Great Cave Offensive, and there are a lot of treasures to collect, and there's some interesting treasures to collect. And that's how this works. Where's the border? Where's the little border graphic that went on the side of the screen? I don't know. Anyway, now let's move on to the next game. I'm losing time here. I'm like at 25 minutes or so.